Okay, in this training, I want to walk you through the business stages and what you should be doing inside of those stages. I think if you've never, ran your own business, launched your own business, you may not know what you actually should be doing. There's a lot of disconnect between, what the gurus on social media are saying to do and what you actually should be focused on. Too many of you are focused heavily on just like making content. I got to make content. I just got to make videos. Yeah, everything else will happen. That's a piece, only a tiny piece of business. Okay, especially in this day and age, content is important, absolutely, but there's much more important things when you're running a business and you're wanting to create revenue, maybe even create profit, right? So I'm going to break down the two main stages you should be focused on. There's a third stage, but I'm not going to dive into that in this section. What you should be doing right now when it comes to where your time is going. All right, I'm going to try to break this down as easily as possible. Stage one businesses are called the startup, okay? They're anywhere between $0 and $1 million. This is literally where you're going to be at for a while, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You could stay here forever. I think that's another piece of it too. Like, you may not want to become a $10 million company, and that's okay. Maybe you just want to run a creative business solo with you and your wife or your husband and just do your thing and not ever build out a team. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So getting clear on where you want to go, I think, is important as well. And I think that helps to kind of see what these stages are, which is kind of why I want to present it today. So stage one business is working in the business. You are inside of the business working in it. Okay? Your main focus is one thing that I'll say 3 times: sales, sales, sales. You need to be selling your thing. This is the most important thing you can do. Yes, content can bring you closer to sales, but is that the end all be all? No. You need to be on the phone. You need to be worrying about numbers. You need to be trying to scale your efforts, knocking down doors and getting more sales of what you offer. That's it. Until you hit $1 million, you need to be selling. Even after then, you should probably still be selling. I'm still actively selling in my business. It should never fully go away, but right now, where you're at should be the main piece. I pulled this little quote, this little quote thing from one of my favorite books called Ready, Fire, Aim. Not Ready, Aim, Fire, Ready, Fire, Aim. Michael Masterson, I believe is his name. He says businesses in this stage need to put 80% of their time on selling their products. Think about it. If you're already actively selling something, are you really spending 80% of your time doing it? No, you're probably not. I say that because I see a lot of creatives just distracted by all of the fluff, all of the fun stuff that's cool and exciting. Oh, let's get a office space. Let's get an intern. Oh, let's make a TikTok page. None of that really matters. You need to sell your thing more. You just need to get uncomfortable. You need to get comfortable on being uncomfortable, and getting more sales. Okay, a lot of you are a little weird about sales. Well, that's what you're here for. We can help you get a little more comfortable there, and it just takes volume. All right. So what you need to be doing is contacting potential clients. I'm talking DMs, private messages, comments. This is a piece of social media, but it doesn't mean spend 80% of your time posting a reel and refreshing it. It's going and talking to people, leading them to a call, leading them to your website, right? Cold calling, emailing. Emailing your list is something I never see enough people do. I have a few amount of clients that are just killing it in email marketing, and that's, you need to be in front of your potential customer and client over and over and over again. All right, now, the equivalent of knocking on doors. You need to be doing this. You're not selling vacuum cleaners. You're selling your product. You need to be bothering people. You got to be a little annoying. I spent a lot of my time in the music industry as a booking agent. I booked this artist specifically here in Chicago. He's a blues artist, and I was his booking agent, and he went for at least $5,000. And I tell you, my job was calling venues, emailing them, calling them again, calling them a third time, and trying to talk to the right person, and essentially knocking on those doors to Meet the right person to pitch the offer of, hey, I've got this blues artist that wants to play at your club. I got so many no's. I'm telling you, thousands of no's. I probably, in the couple years I worked with him as his intern, keep in mind, I booked him maybe 5 times. Okay? But he's getting $10,000. So you got to go through a lot of no's to get those yeses. You got to take more shots. So you've got to start talking to your people. Stop just sitting there twiddling your thumbs, waiting for people to show up. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. So, creating content and value to build trust. This is a piece of it, okay? I hate to just like keep knocking down content, but too many of you are focused on that and the shiny stuff and not the real meat of the pulling when it comes to getting sales. So yes, creating content and value and building trust is a piece of it. Creating lead magnets, which is essentially just sales. You're just fishing, right? You got this shiny thing, this PDF, this free course, this free CD, T-shirt, whatever it is, and you're going fishing, and you're getting people to say, "Hey, I want that thing," and they're like, "Hey," you get closer, and then you talk to them, figure out what their needs are, and pitch them on a paid product. That is the other end of the spectrum when it comes to content. Don't just make content and be like, "Okay, like what, people should be buying stuff now, right?" No. You have to do the other thing. There's a push and a pull. We'll talk about that a little bit as well, the difference of how you sell, okay? And enhancing the product, having feedback loops on what you're doing, because you don't just want to, keep polishing a turd. Maybe what you're doing isn't really working. So listening to your customers, listening to feedback, adding changes, completely pivoting, completely going back to the drawing board. Any of those things could happen, but you need to listen to that feedback and constantly enhance your product and services. And then once you get closer to the $1 million, you want to think about starting to build your team. With enough cash flow, you can start to hire out those positions you don't really like. Sales, right? You need to sell first, though. So many people are just like, "Oh, I've got this great product, and I just don't want to sell. I'm just going to have somebody else sell it." You've never sold it before, and you don't know if it's crap or not. So no, hold your horses. Sell it first. But if you start to sell it, you're selling this your guitar coaching program, or your graphic design services. You start to sell some of those. Now you can start to really reinvest into the business, into the team, a team of setters to set appointments for you, of people that might be interested in what you offer, a team of messengers that are constantly going out and finding leads for you to bring them in, for the setters to set appointments, for closers to close the deals for you, for coaches to help you on the coaching end. Whatever makes sense for you, but you need to get the cash flow first, which means you need to sell first. This was a very uncomfortable thing for me. I'll tell you, I've never worked sales before, and I started to have to sell my own product. I'm like, oh God, I'm so scared. It's not as hard as you think, okay? When you really love what you do, you don't really sell. You just connect with people who want what you have to offer, and you just give them a little bit of pressure, and that's it, okay? Don't be so scared about it. You'll do fine, but you've got to do it. You've got to really focus on sales. 80% of your time needs to go there. Till you're reaching $1 million, I don't want to hear it. You need to be selling. Main takeaway from this stage is don't get distracted by shiny objects. Sales is king, not content. Content isn't the king you think it is. All right? Startup phase can be a lot of work. Knowing it's a means to an end, potentially. All right. If you have it in your mind, like, okay, we're a married couple that really want to build this business, but we don't want to do this alone forever. Have that in your mind. If you're like, hey, I'm fine. Once we reach $1 million, we're okay. Now we can hire a few people and just like, chill. We can just chill for a little bit. That's fine. Keep that in mind. Have an idea, a vision in mind for where you want this business to go. Don't get lost in growth mindset when you really just are happy with reaching $1 million or reaching 6 figures and just being like, okay, how can I like just chill for a second and be happy where I am? So that's stage 1. Most of you are going to live here for a while, and there's no shame in that. But remember, sales is king. Let's look at stage 2. For some of you that want to eventually grow out, This is the growing the empire phase, I call it. You are working on the business, okay? The focus here is you're becoming the CEO. In order to grow, you must lead. Okay, this is before you were like doing sales, you're doing fulfillment, you're like making new products, you're talking to customers, you're doing all of the things inside the business. Now you want to work on the business, if that makes sense. Before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others. Okay? So keep that in mind. You want to start building a team. You get to the place where you're hiring setters and closers and coaches and people to make content for you or pitch you for podcasts. Any team member you can think of, you have to be a leader and you have to be prepared for that. So what does this look like? Well, your day-to-day is going to look like setting it up to scale. Okay, by that is you cannot grow and scale properly without the proper frameworks in place. SOPs meaning standard operating procedures. Every gigantic company has an SOP. I personally worked for Apple for about 10 years, and everything they do inside of their business has a standard operating procedure. Okay, we're going to do this, and then we're going to go over here, and then we're going to go over here, and then we're going to talk to this person, and we're going to send this email. If you think that it's just like, a $1 trillion company is just like winging it, you're crazy. You have to have standard operating procedures, and a lot of that is stuff that we help you build out as well. So when you're like, okay, what happens when I have to hire a new coach? What's that look like? What does their day-to-day look like? I don't know. I'm working on the business, not in the business anymore. So starting to set those up yourself, especially starting to set those up right when you're in here, when you're in it, right? When you're in the shit and you're just like doing all this stuff, sometimes it's hard to take it from your mind and the processes that you're doing onto paper. Like what I'm doing right here, what I'm looking at right here is like a form of a standard operating procedure of a stage 2 business. I just put it into letters, right? You need to do that with everything you do. Okay, when I go and look for a lead, this is my process. I go open Instagram. I look for a similar person in my market. I go to their follower. You see? Step 1, step 2, step 3. This entire program you're in right now is going to be full of processes. It's a process in itself to help you build your own business. It's very meta. Workflows. Same idea. How can you automate stuff? How can you build workflows and automations to help to make your life easier? Okay? Can go down a rabbit hole right here about that, but I won't. A lot of the stuff that I used to do by hand is done by robots. Okay? When somebody books a call with me, it's going to go straight to my calendar. When somebody becomes a client, they get sent an agreement, which then automatically gives them access to the modules, which automatically gives them access to our community, our Slack community. That is done automatically, and we set that up after doing it for years and years by ourselves. Starting to set these up, these workflows and automations, is going to help you grow as a business and as a business owner, okay? You can hand that off when somebody leaves. If you're doing this solo and, you got a coach that leaves, you're going to be like, oh, crap, I don't know what they did. No, you will, because you have an SOP. You have an automated system and a workflow. Hiring, firing, promoting, adding to your team, and nurturing your existing team. This is a skill that you definitely need to start learning. Who to hire, when to fire them, all right? This is something that I am personally working on right now myself. Like, I've got about a team of 7 from all over the world that I'm trying to nurture and help them get better and help them grow in my company. So in this stage 2 business, you really need to figure out what that company culture is and identify who will fit into it. And once they do start to fit into it, how you can help them be as successful as possible. Okay? Adding new entry points into your business. Cool, this is some exciting stuff. All right, so we got this one lead generation process that's gotten us to $1 million. It's not going to get us to $10 million. What else can we do? Now let's go off of Instagram and, do a TikTok now. Let's now go away from just Facebook groups and do a live webinar with affiliates. Let's create 57 new lead magnets to help with specific pain points. Lead magnets being Like I mentioned before, it's like fishing, right? You're looking for people. You got this free thing to help them say, hey, yeah, that's me. And then you're like, okay, what else do you need? Think of lead magnets as a free sample at a chocolate store. You're coming in, you're like, damn, that's good. Can I get a pound? Same idea, right? New products, right? How can you create new stuff, new exciting products? This is your job as a CEO working on the business. And ensuring the machine is running smoothly. Focus on the fulfillment and your team is my takeaway. There's another takeaway, but that's the big thing right here. Like focus on how you're fulfilling your promise to your clients, to your customers, and make sure the machine is running smoothly, checking in with people, being the CEO. Because if the machine isn't well oiled, you're not going to get great results, and your clients aren't going to be happy, and your team's not going to be happy. So you want to have check-ins. Don't just be the CEO that's just traveling around, sipping margaritas somewhere. Check on your team. Main takeaway here is systems are key in this phase. Okay, very, very key. You're not going to get to $10 million not knowing what every person is doing at any minute to do their job. You have to know it. Creating an SOP for almost everything that's done within the business, yeah, you should do. It's hard. There's some cool AI apps that actually help you break that down, but it's simple. When you sit down to do a task, write down what you're doing. Okay, I open this web page. I go and do this. Just think about like everything you do if it was an instruction manual from a bed frame from IKEA. Step by step by step by step. Legos, whatever analogy you want to give. Give us a step-by-step process for everything that you do. Make that clear, and you're going to be able to hand that off to anybody. Okay? This will allow you to outsource with ease so you can work on your business instead of in your business. Okay? So, cool. Hopefully you enjoyed this training. Gives you a good idea of like where you should be at, where you should put your focus. Don't worry about stage 2 right now. Okay? If you're over $1 million, please let me know and correct me. But I have a feeling you're going to be sitting in here for a while, and that is okay, which means sales, sales, sales. All right, cool. I'll see you in the next training.